Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Welcome to Big Blend Radio's third show, focusing on the Community Alliance for Youth Success and its annual Youth Success Week, held in beautiful Oceanside, California. Now, the Community Alliance for Youth Success, as we call it, CAYS, is a volunteer team of adults and youth working in collaboration with the local school district to provide tools and training to create a foundation for students to become college and career ready. And we have a number of special guests joining us today. In fact, it's the third annual Youth Success Week in Oceanside, and today is the final day where they finished the week off with a big festival. So we're going to be chatting with some of the students and some other special guests. But first, we're going to have a conversation with CAYS co-founders to give us an overview of how this fantastic program works, not just for Oceanside, but to see how it can work for your community as well. I encourage you to go to the website. It's youthsuccessweek.org. But let's get our guests on. We've got bobbi-deporter. Everyone knows Bobbi on our shows. She is the co-founder of Super Camp, which is the world's leading summer academic achievement program. And she is also the president of Quantum Learning Network and the author of a number of books, including The 8 Keys of Excellence. And the 8 Keys of Excellence is a big part of Youth Success Week. Bobbi, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Good to have you back. And also Stedman-Graham is back on the show, and also the co-founder of CAYS. He is the CEO of Stedman & Associates and the author of 12 books, including the bestseller Identity. And I think that really ties into what's going on for the Community Alliance for Youth Success, because youth success does start with identity and the community having an identity. So welcome, Stedman. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
This is exciting. And, when you think about a week that is dedicated to a community working with the students and the school district, the businesses, everyone coming together, that does work into the world of creating a community identity that puts the kids at the top, right, Stedman?
Well, it's about time we started focusing on the young people, because we don't have a future without them. And with all of the incidents that are happening around the country, to be able to take a week out, focus on youth development, and kind of change the paradigm and change the way people think and feel about our young people. Our communities are only as good, and our schools is only as good as our people. And it starts with building a future for young people. Otherwise, we will not have one.
I agree. Bobbi, how did this all come together? It's been going like 5 years now, right?
Yes, it has. Well, Stedman and I had been talking about what we might want to do together, and that both of us had focused quite a lot on youth. So Stedman brought up, well, what if we brought the community together to join us in doing something? So that's where the idea came from, and the community coming together and having conversation, knowing that we want to support youth and inviting youth to our meetings. And Youth Success Week came about, and that was 3 years ago now. We're in our third celebration, but it goes on all year. It's a conversation and interactions that go on all year as well.
I love that you invite the youth to be part of it, because sometimes there's these, community meetings, and we forget that, the youth are part of the community. In fact, they're a very huge part of it. And sometimes they just don't even feel welcome. Stedman, what's that been like, seeing some of the youth come into the meetings and actually be part of it? Because I've seen from this specific Youth Success Week that some have created a club. I know we're going to be chatting to a couple of students, but it's got to be exciting to see them come in and take ownership of something very positive for them and their community.
Well, that's been the model. I mean, Bobbi and I have been involved with this organization, again, almost 5.5 years.
Wow.
And what we've been trying to do is build the model. And for a number of years, we didn't have the model. We couldn't understand why it wouldn't take off. And then all of a sudden, we found the model, and the model was this program has to be student-led, and it has to have students focusing on their purpose. Because your purpose, when you find your purpose, you understand who you are. When you find your purpose, you're able to take information and make it relevant to your development. When you find your purpose, you're able to source, education and all that you learn around your foundation for building and growing and developing and achieving success. So purpose is is really the key to building a life.
Mm.
And when we discovered that, okay, that's the missing piece for us, then we say, how do we actually do that for the students? How do they now empower themselves? And so now what we're doing is we are focusing on a student-led process where students can actually go in and create their own purpose, create their own opportunities, and work together to discover, who they are and what their potential is. And when you're student-led, you have the ability to be able to, take it viral. And you have excitement, and you have kids that are happy and smiling, because that is the first step for self-actualization. And so we were just very excited about that, to be able to put the community together throughout these years, organize resources, support young people, and then have the young people take it and run with it. And that's what's so exciting.
I love that. I know when you look at, kids actually getting to this point where, hey, we're more than, here's your test at school. This is taking it beyond that. They're learning to, think bigger, and, that they can really, achieve their dreams. Bobbi, this really, to me, aligns 100% with the 8 keys of excellence, because like what we're saying, there are principles to live by. And to me, this is giving them the opportunity to take ownership. There's that key of excellence of their lives, and really own it. And, and then it spreads through the community. And to me, it gives a confidence, it breeds confidence and a decision making. We talk about that with the 8 Keys of Excellence shows with you all the time. Do you see that happening, that effect happening?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the key of this is it, making the most of every moment, and commitment. Commitment really shines for the students. We had a principal that invited us in to talk with a group of student leaders in their school. And so we were teaching them about purpose. And so many of the students that were there, they just said, we are so busy with our studies, we don't take time to think about what we want in life, what our values are, where is it leading us. And from that meeting that we had with them, and they were so excited just to share what was coming up and what do they want to do in life, then we invited them to our community meeting, and they came and said, wow, that's where they wanted to start a club in their school. So just listening to them. And it's also interesting to have adults talking about, here's some activities that we're planning or doing, and then getting feedback from the students. Sometimes it's, well, not so much, here's what we really want, and just really engaging with them. And I think it sends such a positive message, an important message, that we're engaging the community together and having conversations and really listening to each other and giving students a voice to really express themselves.
I love this conversation part of it, because it becomes a lifelong dialogue too, where it takes age away out of it. And I think that's a key part too. Like what you're saying, okay, maybe the kids don't want to do this, the adults think so, but if they don't have that conversation, then nothing is fluid, and nothing's really, that connection's not being made to really improve and understand each other. Do you see, Stedman, have you seen any changes in adults through this?
Well, it's interesting because, if you can get parents and children together, or parents and their kids together, youth together, talking about purpose, what I know is this, and I'm sure Bobbi will agree, and maybe you will too, is that purpose is relevant to everybody. It doesn't make any difference who it is or what age you're at. If you find your purpose, you have meaningful existence in your life. When you find your purpose, every day is fun and engaging. And when you find your purpose, then you're alive. So that's all of us. Not making a difference who it is, what country you're in, what you look like, what your nationality is, or what your background is, or your social economic development. It's all the same. It starts with purpose. And so if we can just put that out there, especially for our young people to get that, hopefully they'll carry the energy to their parents and to their friends and adults and nieces and nephews and aunts and uncles. So we understand the value of that, because we're here. You can't be in a community meeting, as a volunteer with no money, with everybody showing up consistently over a long period of time. with no motivation other than purpose, you can't exist without that. We we would have not been able to last that long. And so that's why it's important for them to find that purpose, because it sustains their program, whatever they're working on, whatever they're practicing on, for a long period of time, so they can create success, over time.
Nancy, I think we're going to walk around saying, "What's your purpose?" all day. I know. I love this.
We have an acquaintance that we've been trying to point out in a nice way that a purpose helps you get through grief and loss, and a purpose helps you move forward from things. And we talk about it almost daily about how do you maneuver somebody into finding the purpose. And I think that especially young kids, if they're not being listened to, it's hard for them to feel important enough to even think about themselves from the standpoint of purpose.
Because it's so much bigger.
Yeah, and if you're always left out in the cold and no one's listening to you, then you kind of just bump around, and sometimes you're lucky and bump into your purpose, and other times you just feel lost. So I think this is a great way of bringing people together, and on both sides having a good chance to actually hear what the other person really thinks.
I like that. I agree. With Bobbi, when you look at this, and the excellent side, finding purpose, what are you looking at the changes for the youth in regards to, yes, confidence and finding out what they want to do in life, and working towards their career goals? Those kinds of things happen, but there's also, Stedman, you alluded to this in the beginning, that there's issues facing our kids. We've done interviews talking to youth that are nervous even to go to school, to be quite honest. And there's also bullying. There's issues where kids are, facing addictions, or you just see it's hard. It's more than homework that they're dealing with in school. So, Bobbi, for you, when you start to see this, are you seeing any changes in the youth in feeling stronger to not have maybe, fear, or to handle bullying and things like that?
Well, sometimes the priority is just to fit in, to have that sense of belonging, because we all have that innate need to belong, and you want them belonging to something positive and going forward rather than negative behavior that is going on that they sometimes engage in just to fit in. So having something bigger, it gives meaning to life, and life beyond what is even next to them for the next couple of years. It's like, what am I going towards? And then it has that sense of fulfillment and meaning and purpose in life, and that motivates them. And that's what we want, is for them to be self-motivated and excited about life because they're going towards something.
Exactly. I like this. Now, I know that you've got a model, and this is something, we were talking about in the beginning, that it can go nationwide, worldwide with this. It's something that, communities can say, okay, we're going to have a youth success week. This is something we're going to get the school district, the kids, the businesses, everyone comes together as a community and celebrates youth, and it helps them. And like you're saying, the youth are going to move forward with this. You've got an amazing PowerPoint that I've seen. I'm like, wow, okay, I think this is fantastic just for anybody to read to, like, think about the goals of a community, think about what are the goals for the youth, for the education system. So I think it's a fabulous document, but can everybody get one, or how does this start, Stedman, for people who want to do this? I know that you're expanding out all the way to Chicago because they've got good pizza in Chicago, but what's happening in regards to expanding this?
Well, we have a school district that has a youth success week in Brookwood, Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Which is in south suburbs and south side of Chicago. And they're so excited about it. The school board approved the budget for them. They have about 30, I think at least 30 programs this week that they have students involved in around Youth Success Week. And what it really does, it really just kind of organizes. That's a very important word, organize. Are you organized? Can you organize the community? Can you organize the students? Can you organize education? Can you organize security in the community? Can you organize safety? So all of these things are being addressed, with the mayor becoming involved in it and supporting it. The school board, of course, approved the budget. The teachers they are highly motivated around it because they know if they can get these students to become self-learners and self-directed learners and lifelong learners, it makes their job easier. Safety and security is that's an important issue for the community. So they all come together. It's kind of like a watch. Everybody watching out for each other and empowering each other. And so it's more of a positive attitude, around, Brookwood, and they're all excited, and it's organizing and coming together as a community to take over your community from potential drugs, from potential crimes, improving opportunities where people can actually learn. And, like we were growing up, you have a vision for college and aspirations to be somebody successful. Well, you got to first create the environment. You got to first create the structure for that. And it starts with human development and working together. And it starts really with leadership. So this is kind of a leadership initiative. And we're taking this leadership initiative across the country, showing people how to do it. How to put it together. What does that look like? So we're packaging the content, organizing the materials, showing people that we've demonstrated how it's been done in Oceanside, and you can actually do it in your community. And Brookwood is now doing it. And so we are just giving them another alternative to be able to figure out how we solve these issues of negativity in our communities.
I love this. And everyone, youthsuccessweek.org is the website to go to. Bobbi, is that the best way for people, other community leaders and school districts to reach out to you?
Yes, it is, because our contact information is there and they can reach out. And probably the first step is having a conversation just about what their desires are and to be able to tell them more about what we're doing here. And yes, we can send them information.
And one thing that I read in your PowerPoint about this, and I know from the past shows talking about the Youth Success Week and Community Alliance for Youth Success is measuring the success. At the end of a festival, I know you just came off of your festival today and the end of Youth Success Week, but what does it look like, for both of you that you've seen, just off the top of, what you've seen this week, of what you've seen in some successes, so that you can look at, okay, this is something that other communities will, possibly have the same experience. Bobbi, let's start with you on that. What have you seen in successes over even the last 3 years with this?
Well, I look at the numbers of connections and engagement. How many students have been impacted, how many programs have been presented, how many conversations, that happened. And then we get individual anecdotes of a student that feels that just finding their purpose made all the difference for them. Or I feel more comfortable myself and knowing who I am so I don't have to react to others. So we're getting lots of messages back from students about shifts in their lives and attitudes. And so, when we not only have the students in schools, but we have businesses that have come to the festival and they get in conversations with students, and it's about possibilities of internships for next year or mentorships or just conversations and awareness. And what a wonderful thing of just, with the results of knowing how many business people are having conversations with students and have that interest, and students presenting what success is, what their stories are. So I measure success really with the amount of engagement and connectivity, and to have the conversation going after the week, that it continues.
Yeah, it's a continued dialogue with some action, and you've got a common goal, something to work on, which I think is great because it has to move up. But I know that's what you said, how it got into. This is the model. This is it. Live in the now. Do it. Stedman, for you, some of the successes that you have seen with the festivals and Youth Success Week.
Well, you have to measure success by sustainability a lot of the times because we're still here, after all these years, number one. Number two, we're moving nationally into now finding people who are really interested. We've had conversations with folks that are interested. Number two. Number three, the smiles on these young people's face and the smiles on the community members, you know, the CAYS, the Community Alliance for Youth Success, the community organization, the smiles that they get and the gratification they get from feeling like they're doing a good job. And they consistently show up. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it says a lot when you can maintain sustainability over a long period of time. And it's a lot of successes you can measure. I mean, one of the programs, the Blue Ribbon program, it was Sparky Halise, is just excellent, and she's been on this, and she's been, you know, making a difference in the community in Oceanside. And I think she went to another country. Bobby, where did she go?
Bangladesh. She was presenting there.
Bangladesh, and she did a program over there. And it's just people need this. So the energy that you get from it is enough for me, and the rewards that I see with these young people are enough for me. So we're going to begin to measure that at some point. For where students are now, where they can be based on discovering your purpose. So I'm sure we're going to be able to give you some more data around that in terms of numbers, in terms of being able to impact young people's lives.
One thing we did do is during the week, one morning we went and gave 2 assemblies in the morning, and then in the afternoon we were at 2 other schools, and I went with facilitators, and we were walking from the parking lot, and a car goes by, and here's a student yelling out the window the 8 Keys of Excellence chant, and he had been at the morning assembly and just saw us on the street and was all smiles and yelling out and singing back to us. So it was like, oh, yes.
That's awesome.
I know.
I love to see the connection like that, and you know, just that excitement. And I think when you see that there's a light that goes on in you know, that
the light bulb moment.
Yeah, when you see that happen with anybody, all ages, to me that's just one of the coolest things on earth. So when you see it with youth, that just gives me like the goosebumps and the happy dance, because when you see that, and then you see that the energy that moves forward, it's like they're creating their own movement for their own life.
It really created a lot of smiles too. And a teacher turned to me in the middle of the assembly and she said, wow, she said, this is what these students need. These students needed this, and just the excitement and coming together. And then another teacher came up to me, and she had been to our youth program super camp. She said, I attended in 1985, and she was a teacher at the school. She still remembered the 8 Keys of Excellence, so that was a fun connection.
I love that. That's awesome. And everyone, go to 8keys.org, by the way, and there's a free family program. So that's a good start right there to be part of that. And I want to thank you both. You know, this is such an exciting movement. I know as Nancy and I continue our travels across the country, you know, with working with communities on a tourism and park level, it's something that we're going to be able to share with them as much as we can, because, you know, we work in the world of responsible tourism, sustainable tourism, which means a healthy and happy community. And that means that you have to start with your actual families. And if that connection is not there, you can't open up your doors to let anybody else in yet. You know, it's not going to happen. And I think that this is just a really great model to share with everybody. I mean, the whole world can do this.
Well, yeah. It's all about working together too. And I think, you know, sometimes we forget how important it is to have everybody work together, not just one faction of a community. Because we've seen a lot of that in the communities we visit when you talk about tourism, and there'll be the same handful of people and then no reaching out to the other sides that need to be involved. So I like this a lot.
It's a good reach out. Real quick, last question. You know, you've got Youth Success Week in April, and is that something, because you're saying what's going on also in Illinois, Stedman, is Youth Success Week, is it going to be the same week every year, or can it be different according to, you know, each community?
No, it actually is different. In Chicago, the Youth Success Week is May 14th through the 19th, May 19th. So it's different dates, and it's also customizable for the student body, and also the customizable for the district and the community. All of it coming together and figuring out how they can actually do it. I mean, it would be great one day to be able to have a 1 week as Youth Success Week. So but we haven't got that far yet.
I've kind of taken away, if everyone's doing a different week, it means youth success is happening on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Around the world.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I like that, man. It's like
Mm.
every day, what can we do for our youth and how can we empower them? This is so exciting. Everyone, youthsuccessweek.org is the website to go to. And thank you both for joining us. Bobby, you got to stay. You're not allowed to leave.
Okay.
We got Sparky joining us, and we've got a couple students, and we're going to talk about all the different activities. And I always love to talk to the students because we can find out directly from them how they are feeling. And I've already seen some videos with them they're the most well-spoken students.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
They are so well-spoken. Does that come from that confidence,
Mm-hmm.
And once you have that purpose, that's
Yep.
what it is. But we're going to have a little music break, and this is a song called Dream Big. It's by nicki-kris. You can go to nicki-kris.com. That's K-R-I-S, nicki-kris.com. She loves the 8 keys of excellence and actually matched lyrics from her songs to all 8 keys. So there you go. So here it is. Dream Big. Thanks, Stedman.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
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 Two little boys running wild outside, not a care in the world. Playing with their friends, let the fun begin. Fantasies unfurled. A bucket, some string, and someone to sing. Got a melody in my head. Mama, this is what I wanna be someday. This is what I said. You gotta dream big, aim high, be yourself and shoot for the sky. You can be anything you wanna be. All you have to do is believe. Take pride in yourself and open each door. Hold your head up high and see what's in store. It's your life to choose no matter what you do. All you need to know is that I'll always love you. Do-do-do-do. Baseball, football, or hockey net, which sport shall we play? We love them all, so grab a ball and throw it right this way. The team's made up, we're playing for the cup. Come on and shoot my way. Mama, this is what I wanna be someday. This is what I say. You gotta dream big, aim high, be yourself and shoot for the sky. You can be anything you wanna be. All you have to do is believe. Take pride in yourself and open each door. Hold your head up high and see what's in store. It's your life to choose no matter what you do. All you need to know is that I'll always love you. Do-do-do-do.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio's annual Community Alliance for Youth Success show today. And you just heard Dream Big by nicki-kris. Again, her website is nicki-kris.com, and that's K-R-I-S.com. And, we've got some more special guests joining us. We were chatting with Bobbi-Deporter earlier, who's the co-founder of SuperCamp and president of Quantum Learning Network, the author of the 8 Keys of Excellence, and also a co-founder of the Community Alliance for Youth Success, which, again, we'll call CAYS for short. And we also spoke with Stedman-Graham, And, just really talking about how this amazing program has created this week, this Youth Success Week, that really celebrates the youth of a community where the actual, the whole education system works with the students and the parents, the business. So it's a full community project. And right now, everyone's just come back from the festival, culminating the whole event. And I do want to say, everyone, go to the website, youthsuccessweek.org, so you can learn a little bit more. But as I was saying, we have some special guests joining us. Bobby is still here with us. And we've also got, Bobby, are you doing good? You're hanging in there? It's been a long week.
Yes, lots of energy from just all the celebration.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. Nancy and I got to see some of it on Facebook. The Community Alliance for Youth Success has been posting on Facebook Live. You got to see student presentations and speaking events, and just the energy is on, there's no 1 to 10. This is like at the 100% mark, and it's excellent. Our other guest is Helise Sparky Bridges. Now, we love the name Sparky.
Yeah,
she was on our show before talking about K's and Youth Success Week. She is founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide, and she's the author of Who I Am Makes a Difference. You can't argue with that whatsoever. And it's super exciting to have Sparky back on the show. So welcome back, Sparky. How are you?
I am Sparkalicious. Oh, that's cool. I never said that in my life before.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I know. I'm like, ooh. Can we put that on a ribbon? I'm Sparkalicious, baby.
I think we ought to now.
I see fireworks going off.
I know.
Sparkalicious.
I know, but that's what I say. Out here in the desert where we're based in Tucson, I know you're in beautiful Oceanside, California, with cool breezes and ocean and palm trees. Over here, like we do, like our hair stands on edge, and it reminds you you're alive. Things are going on. So that's my Sparky. But I want to ask Helise, and we've got another 2 special guests joining us too. And I'm excited because they're students and they took initiative and created their own clubs, their youth success clubs. But Helise, Blue Ribbons Worldwide, tell us about that.
So our purpose is to unite humanity through the power of love, and by teaching people how to acknowledge the worth and importance of one another, to focus on what's working instead of what isn't, to empower and support each other's dreams. And so I created the Who I Am Makes a Difference Blue Ribbon, and taught now that 50 million people around the world have honored each other with that ceremony, and it has ended conflict in a minute or less and brought people together and supported dreams coming true. So it's a pretty awesome opportunity to have that. We're going for 1 billion people to be honored in the next, by 2020.
Wow,
so cool. A great gift. We want everybody to focus on what's working and know that somebody has told them that they matter and place that blue ribbon above their heart. Sure to
that is so important, because I think that that prevents people from moving forward in their life if they don't feel that, and it really hurts confidence levels. And I think with what you're doing, everyone can go to blueribbons.org. Also, it just really connects. I think it's just I love that, all these different people involved in this community, and the fact that this is a nationwide plan, that anyone around across this country and around the world could adopt this into, their community. But bringing in the 8 keys of excellence, to me, and tied in with that, is such a powerful statement. And everyone that's presenting, there's just so much positivity. Bobby, with that, and everyone, go to 8keys.org. We were talking about this earlier, but the 8 keys of excellence, this is really also part of that foundation of even how K's got started.
Yes, we started with the 8 keys of excellence. The first Youth Success Week, we had each day focused on one of the keys. Most of the Oceanside schools have adopted them, and they have during the week had morning announcements about each of the keys. But it's all about stories and how it connects to your life and what you can learn from them.
And this year, I know you were running around to different assemblies. How did the 8 keys get incorporated into Youth Success Week?
Well, it was going in and doing assembly. So we taught them 8 keys of excellence cheers, as well as, have one side off the other, and also gave them colored wristbands that matched the 8 keys of excellence. So they told stories and matched up with people with different color wristbands, and could share what a key meant to them.
It sounds like the TV show Survivor, but we're not having to play Survivor. A lot easier when you get to match your buffs or whatever they do over there. But I think having, I have those wristbands, and they're really important. I think it's the same thing too with, having a ribbon. There's this connection and a reminder of, so it's constantly with you, right, Bobbi? Like that's what excellence is about, is that consistency of it in life. It's not one success, it's continued good behavior.
It becomes who you are. We always talk about creating a core, so you don't have to think about how you're going to respond to something. You're clear on who you stand for, what your values are, so you know how you're going to respond in situations out in the world.
Excellent. It's true, because the older you get, not that I'm getting older.
No, you're immortal.
I know. I'm like, I'm working on being younger.
She's got extra sparky going on.
Yeah, I got some sparky going on here. But the thing is, your decisions in life come from your learning and your experiences. And I think you got a head start with this.
I know. I wish this was in my school growing up.
That's what we have been talking about this for an hour before this interview, talking about I wanted it in my school.
I know. Now I want to go back to school, So but speaking of that, so our next two guests, I'm very excited. They're from El Camino High School in Oceanside. And I have some good friends who graduated from there years ago because, we're all getting, younger here. So it's exciting because today, it's a festival day and it's Superhero Day, National Superhero Day. And you got to love that, right? And we've got Ariana Thomas, as she is a co-founder of the Youth Success Club at El Camino High School. And I think that's exciting. She also has just won the Boys and Girls Club California State Youth of the Year Award.
Yes,
don't mess with her. Welcome to the show, Ariana. How are you?
You're funny. Hello, yeah. Nice to meet you. I'm very glad to be here today.
Well, okay. So are you I think you're a superhero. You decided to go off and co-found a Youth Success Club. I mean, what was it that said, hey, I'm going to take the initiative?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it's Superhero Day because hero, as Tony Robbins said, it stems from the Latin root servo, and it is to serve, and that's one of my main missions, is to serve, to be out there in the community, to make impact, because that's what makes me feel successful. That's what makes me feel happy. And that is a lot of what CASE does to help us and to have a platform for everybody to have a voice and to make change, essentially.
Awesome. Make change. I love this. And, does it help to have this foundation behind you, like not a nonprofit foundation, but a foundation of people, mentors? When you look at the list of everybody that's involved with CASE, does it help you to make these decisions? Like, I'm going to go for it. Do you feel like extra confident that you can because you have this support network behind you?
Right. Yeah, completely. I feel like mentors play a big role in everyone's life. If we don't have a mentor, then sometimes it can be more difficult to achieve what we want to achieve. And I think those who are wiser can actually spread an impact even more, so that we are working more as a community. And that's what CASE focuses on, to build mentorship within the youth population around our Oceanside schools and campuses. And I think that's really big because a lot of us may not have those figures in our life. I know for me, for sure, with my parents, always having fights all the time and trouble with marriage and divorce and all that, I think it's very important that I had those people to pick me up and get me back on through the course of life, because that is what we do, and that's how we become successful, is to learn from our mistakes and move through them.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right, and I think it's important because
and how to meet challenges,
and how to take care, how to plan and prepare to get through them. You know. Completely. Yeah, you don't just jump in the fire. Like, there's going to be a way around it. Or maybe, since you like Tony Robbins, we can walk on, hot coals. We're gonna do the walk, man. Do the walk. But we've also got
quickly.
I know. We've got Draco Alva here as well. He's a junior at El Camino.
How are you?
Hey, good to have you on the show. So tell us about how you got involved in Youth Success Week, and because you also co-founded a club.
I was not a co-founder, but I am an original member, and I will be taking a leadership position this for the rest of this year and next year.
You will be our president next year, actually.
Oh, listen, I will be taking that leadership position. Thank you very much. It's mine.
So,
good for you. No, but I think that's important. You know, and so what made you go, okay, I'm going to get involved?
Well, so what had happened is I did Model United Nations with Ariana, and so next year I'll be the president of Model United Nations as well. So from there, she kind of invited me to this epic mastermind event, and that's where I got a lot of inspiration from the speakers there. And that's where I met Grandma Sparky, who told me about Youth Success Week. And you've talked to Sparky before. When you talk to Sparky, if she asks you to do something or she asks you for help, you have to do it. Just because of that love she has for everyone. You respect it so much. And of course, so I went to the meetings, things like that. And then I was like, this is great work that needs to be done. And I really would like to help empower my peers. And just the mentors that I've built just from the program, it's incredible.
I think this is so exciting to hear from you both about talking about mentors and that importance. And also, speaking with your youth community, have you seen changes? I want to ask each of you this. Let's start with you, Draco. Have you seen any changes within your friends at school? Seeing this Youth Success Week, have you seen changes in people going, you know what, I can do things, and it gets us. Bobby always talks about pattern interrupt, which is one of my favorite sayings in life because it reminds us to jump out of our comfort zone and to go beyond, go forward, go beyond. And I feel like Youth Success Week is one big pattern interrupt, and it allows people to think beyond what you're reading in your textbook. Not saying that you shouldn't read your textbook and do all that stuff. I don't even know if you have textbooks anymore. Is it all on a computer? But, so there's something that changes. There's a switch. Did you see that happen during Youth Success Week, Draco?
Most definitely. Especially, you could see it at our festival today, just the people jumping out of their comfort zones. We had people who were terrified of public speaking who went up and gave the most incredible, heartwarming speeches that you've ever heard, professional level speeches, and just seeing that jump there, not to mention actual application in the real world. We're seeing new clubs come up. We're seeing businesses getting started. All our friends in the club are doing amazing things now, and we do have to thank our mentors. We have to thank all the values that they've placed in us and that inspiration and empowerment that we have been given.
Wow, this is
great.
From what we saw, and everyone, I encourage you to go to the K's Facebook page. It's CAYS, so Community Alliance for Youth Success. I love that word, alliance, and community, and I love youth success. It's like the perfect name.
Every word,
It is. It's the best. And putting our kids first, the youth first, and letting them know that they're cared about and thought about, and that their future is like super important to the world and to them and to us. And some of the speeches we saw, I was like, oh my gosh, you just said that. I mean, there's goosebumps, there's tears, there's wisdom. And I'm like, can we put this nationwide everywhere, like on TV everywhere?
Yeah.
You really hope so.
We need a youth success channel.
But I think we need
move over C-SPAN.
I think it should be a national holiday week.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And I think what's really funny also is that while I was with the community, when we were making the club Youth Success Week, I was surprised to see that so many kids were able to actually take a step into the club to see what they were in for. And I was very surprised to also see kids who are not very motivated in school to actually be able to care about themselves and what they saw themselves and actually have a clear vision for the future. And that's so cool because when we went to the Community Alliance for Youth Success Week meeting, we were able to actually understand what we wanted to do and share with the community partners around us what we were going to do and what help we needed in order to make this event possible. And to have people to come by our schools to check out our speeches, and the whole flow of it just went very smooth when we had everybody working together, which really brought unity within our community.
Oh, I love that. Oh, unity in the community. I like that. Someone should write a song for that.
But isn't it really about you feel listened to because somebody actually listened to you?
That's huge. Being treated as equals. They see the value in the future, because when you talk to these high school, middle school, elementary school kids, you're not just talking to kids with undeveloped prefrontal cortexes. You're talking to the future, and you have to treat them as equal so that they develop that empowerment, that voice that they need to carry on ideals that you want to see for future generations to come.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And this is it. I love the fact that the business sector is involved in this, because
We have a buddy, Christian. He started a company and everything. Like it's amazing just seeing what everything. Yeah, all the connections you can make and stuff. Everything's included.
This is it, because you know, when you think about going to college, or maybe you're not going to go to college, maybe you're going to be an entrepreneur and just go for it. You know, everybody's got something different that they're going to do. And I think that's the beauty of this, is that individuality of being a strong individual and thinking you're collectively thinking and working together, but through being collective as a community in this kind of foundation, like I was saying, this is like in a band, the bass player and the drummer, that's the foundation. You know, just that's your backbeat. You know, the song's not going to happen if those two aren't in sync. And I think that's what happened with this organization and this whole model, is that you have this foundation. And, you know, to look at this, it allows you to become an individual.
Exactly.
And to understand who you are individually. Would you agree with that, Ariana?
Oh, yeah, completely. I see everyone's role. Like I said, the unity within the community comes together within the case board and within all of us. And it was very fortunate for us that once we came to the first meeting, after they came to our school, I was unable to, you know, actually give my voice out within all the to all the community partners. And I began to feel more involved within the group. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of their committee team and have meetings before the community meetings to discuss what we wanted to execute with the Youth Success Week program and the Youth Success Week Day, and how we were going to do it at our school to promote it and to get more kids involved. And so what was really interesting was that everybody was totally willing to plan out through my vision, and all of us had our own visions that we incorporated, but it's always the people that's for us and behind it all that help us play that part, and the mentors and all the businesses that come together really and truly make it special, because without them, this event wouldn't have been possible. It's everybody's part, it's everybody's role, so that we can make Youth Success Week a better event.
What did you see during Youth Success Week that really just said, okay, this is that made you think further about something, whether it was someone speaking about something of their personal change and growth? You know, maybe it was someone that you met. What did you know? If you just take away, because I know you guys have all just come away from the festival now.
Yeah.
I know there's all these impactful and powerful, you know,
there's a lot to think about.
Conversations and also, you know, speakers. But what was one thing right now that off the top of your head that you went, you know, this changed my thinking?
Yeah. So I would say completely, when Draco was talking about Epic Mastermind, Sparky was able to sponsor us to hear these businesses talking about their brand and how they came from. They started, like, quoting Drake here, but they started from the bottom and they made it to the top. And it's just like, you know, they came out heart to heart and they saw us. They saw what we had and the potentials we had, and we were able to discuss with them what we wanted to do and what help we needed. And these were all like, these people are on the top and they're making change at a bigger level, but they've taken time and really taught us what success meant to them by giving back, by volunteering, by being able to serve and give wisdom to the community. Because if you're not making impacts, then how is that really helping you make bigger change? So it was really cool to see that they were able to help us, that they saw us and they really wanted to help the younger generations to make impact on a bigger scale. So that's what made me more motivated to create the Youth Success Week program, because I wanted everyone to have that impact in their life and to have that opportunity for them. Because Oceanside being a small city and, you know, we don't always have the best resources around us, I think this would help our community actually build strength and come together and make more of a difference, because I haven't been seeing that recently, and I think it would be so important to bring it to the kids at our school, because that's who we meet at a deeper level, and just building alliance there first and then making change, to start from the bottom and work on our way top, because that's how true change occurs in the political factor. We have to start from the bottom and make our way to the top. It starts with the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got to be organic. It's got to be that. It's a grassroots.
Well, you need the base foundation to be correct.
And Oceanside, you know, we used to live in Vista, so we're close to Oceanside. We back in the day, and I love Oceanside. And To me, I've seen Oceanside through the years go, over the 20 years, go through so many changes, and it is grown and it has also bettered itself. And I don't believe a community can better itself without the youth being at the top of the list. And because that's where things happen. And there's a restlessness that can happen. There can be negative things. There could be scary things, sad things. But I've seen this connectivity, and I really believe Youth Success Week is part of those, catalysts that can create change, and this positive change where people drop their political stuff and really just come to the table of, we care about each other, and we're going to grow together, and we're going to impact things, and it's just going to go around the country. And I believe this is going to be a program that goes around the world. So I do believe, this is something exciting, and I love what you're talking about with mentors and having the support. Bobbi, we did a whole show with you. You wrote an article about it. Everyone go to blendradioandtv.com. You'll see Bobbi as one of our experts, which we're honored to have her there. And she talked about her mentorship in life, which was Buckminster Fuller. Can't beat that. So you understand this role of how important mentorship is. And when you K's came together, did you ever think this was going to be such a huge role for the youth, is having these mentors?
Well, our very first meeting, we put an invitation out, and we had over 80 leaders in the community all show up. And I always go back to that first meeting because people were sitting there. We had multiple mayors, we had school superintendents, we had business people, we had Richard Dreyfuss was there. We had so many different people there. But people were sitting in the room looking to the right, to the left, back and forth, and saying, how did you get us in one place? We don't get together. And I think so many of us are busy in our own work and what we're doing, and it's so easy to stay separate. So the city, it feels separate. Everybody is busy and in their own business. And all of a sudden creating a platform to come together, and businesses, and I say people, want to connect with students, and they don't know how. And there's not real, I'm just busy in my life. And like when you say pattern interrupt, I mean, just coming together as a community, listening and interacting with students, it's just inspiring conversations. People want to connect. So I think part of it is just making a vehicle so that there's activity and we come together. Like today was a great example of just coming together and so many conversations.
So great.
So many students, so many businesses.
Conversation's
so many people.
A big word of today's conversation, because you're saying this is a continued dialogue you have this week, but it carries on this forever. This is something that's the continued excellence, right, Bobbi? This conversation.
Yes. Well, there's the Youth Success Club meets every week, and we have our community meetings about once a month. And then there's different events or people getting together. That there's so many of us in the room that we don't realize where we were when we started. We didn't know each other. We didn't know each other's businesses. And people that come have visited each other's business, have supported them, gotten involved. So we know each other now, and it has created a community.
Yeah, and I want to also add a flavor here about the community of all of you guys at El Camino Real, where the Youth Success Club has kind of matured, and I think that what I want to grace is there's an element of an organic element, because if you've got something called Youth Success Week, you're focused on an end result, and you can see that you've created every single day of the week you created a theme. Am I right? Whether inspiration, motivation, self-worth, I think love, and what's going on, and you could tap into that so that you get resources, just so that it just keeps growing. It's so organic, and you pop in and you show up and you're influenced and you listen to each other.
Show up. Good 2 words right there. Show up.
Well, and also you now have a choice.
Yeah.
And then to realize you have a choice and to take the initiative to make a choice it's stellar. It's something to be proud of, but it's also something to pass on to others who sometimes their upbringing or where they are in life, they don't think they have a choice, but they actually do. They just can't see it. And I think that this goes a long way with unclouding a society that has a lot of murky stuff going on. So you can look at something, and sometimes it really does take somebody else to say to you, you really actually do have a choice. You could do this instead of that. And then once you've made that choice, I mean, I have to commend all of you, because I think it's so important. Nobody really wants to be alone.
Mm-mm.
They may say they want to be alone. They might look like they want to be alone, but they really need other people.
You need a support network.
You need that. And to come along and go, hey, we have a choice. We're offering you a choice. I think that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of also, that's why we went up and gave our speeches today. Although we're still going through our paths as young adults and trying to achieve our purpose in life and our goals, we're still trying to be inspiration for all our peers as well, to actually get up and start going for their dreams and going for their goals now, rather than waiting till they're adults, because we're young. We have school, and then after school, the world is ours. We can do whatever we please. We can climb mountains. We can do anything we put our minds to, and that's just the truth about young people, and we want everyone to see that. And Ari and I really try to do be inspirations for our peers around us, be inspirations for younger classmen who are going to come into the club and try to do their best to follow in the footsteps.
And when you do that, don't you feel even better? Like, doesn't that make you happier when you share the knowledge that you are learning, and you share it with your friends, and you're like, hey, like, check this out, we can do this? Don't you feel better by working out, like just, reaching across the aisle and saying, hey, we can do this together? There's a thing about giving. You receive more than the person you gave to, So I think
that's what, especially Ari touched on it. In a talk I discussed this, like, for us, it's giving back to our communities and giving back to the people who gave to us, giving back to the people who aren't able to give to us. That's what means the most to us. I really do find pleasure and actual happiness and ecstasy in just being able to give back to my community and seeing the looks on the people's faces who you've been able to help. That's something that, can't be emulated. It's its own spirit, it's its own body. You really just cannot repeat it, emulate it in any way.
Oh, I love this. And, when I think about, this, when a community comes together, and just hearing the joy, the wisdom from both of your voices, and then, Sparky and Bobby and, Stedman being on earlier, commitment. When you hear this commitment, and there's to me, deep sense of integrity. And Bobby, I wanted to touch on this because I think it's important when a community comes together that it is through integrity, right? That has to be. It's the first key of excellence. And it won't, you can't get wise without integrity. You have to go through it, and you can't stay the course unless you have integrity, right?
Well, I think it touched on everyone's values, because putting out an invitation to come and gather around a youth success, that's their values. So the behavior was, all these years later, continuing to show up. So we define integrity as match behavior with values, and really being clear what your values are, and then going out. And with the youth, that you both have stepped up forward. You say yes to things. You say yes to life. And both being the community members, just having somebody, wow, you'll listen to us, and you'll have conversation with us, or you'll share with us what your wants are, and that's so inspiring. And also that you are the role models going out, as you said. We had a speaker today who talked about how introverted he was, and like you say, it's so easy for people to be quiet on the sides. So for students to be quiet on the sides, and you're inspiring them to come forward. And for us, we have community members that are just so busy in their own work and stay there without reaching out and having conversations with what's going on in the community. So that's what I see. What's so exciting for me with K's and for Youth Success Week is we start conversations, and we meet each other, and we learn about each other and see how we support each other. Lots of things have come up. We should do stories just on, how we've supported each other.
stories connect.
And the
that's
platform
how you keep going. That's how civilizations were formed through storytelling, whether it's hieroglyphics or emojis. It goes beyond this, and you actually have to have this conversation.
I think we just went full circle.
Yeah,
right back there.
And I think it's really interesting because the young man that was we saw that on your Facebook page and saw the live feed from that, and him talking about it actually just took him one email, putting his email and phone number and showing up to a club meeting, and then his life started to change in all these positive directions. And it's like it just took this one thing, and that's that comfort zone, that that pattern interrupt, that get past the fear. And what you fear is often this small thing. And I think that's what's so great. And I think, Halise, what you talked about showing up, and as this young gentleman did on his speech, I think that's a big deal. And to wear a ribbon, I believe that's you have to overcome a fear to wear a ribbon.
Oh, yes. That's absolutely true. In fact, to be able to have a ribbon on over your heart that says "Who I Am" makes a difference for a lot of people. Even myself, when I first did this, I didn't want to walk around going, "Hello, who I am makes a difference," and wear that. I was intimidated by my own process, so I used to leave the ribbon at home. Now I wear it everywhere, and people. I think the greatest thing when I see Ariana and Draco, when you were just on Fox News with Bobbi and Stedman, that you were wearing the blue ribbons, and nobody told you to do that. And it was because you're standing there and you're saying, yes, we all deserve to know that we matter and that we have a voice and can make change occur. And that process is so moving to me. And you talk about hero, and I love the way you said it. It's in service. I hadn't heard that before, so thank you, and thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard that. But what I do want to say is that every time we're in service to another person and we're empowering them and letting them know how much they matter. In this case, when I did honor people with the blue ribbon, I never knew why it felt so good for me. I didn't understand service really. I did for years. I went, whoa, this is like the coolest thing. What's happening to me? And I was a millionaire, and I had more, the juice inside of me, vitality, because I was serving others, and I didn't know anything about that before. I didn't know that's what happened.
Yeah, I just have to add to that because Sparky was huge for me. The ribbons actually had a big breakthrough for me, not necessarily when I received the ribbon, I did not understand the full potential of the ribbon and all that went behind it. But when I was able to give it to someone who needed it to recognize that their worth and importance in this world is actually huge, it's just truly how something so simple, a gesture that's so simple, just is so complex with emotions and things like that. And Sparky really did teach me how to bring emotions and love into business and work and academics, and just how it has a place in everything. So we are grateful to Sparky, and that's why we wore our ribbons on TV, because we all have our Sparky stories, and when we wear our ribbons, it's like carrying our mentor with us.
Sparky stories, I love that.
I like it.
It's like we got our Sparky stories. I love that. I love that. Go ahead.
Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, we're here. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I also wanted to add that Sparky is it plays a big role in our lives. Like Draco said, we all have a Sparky story. And she's one of the main reasons why we created the Youth Success Week Club, and the main reasons we got our energy and adrenaline to start it, because she really goes around and spreads love through her eyes, through her body, her aura. It's everything that she does that makes us happy. And you even know it. You open this phone call and you're like, oh, yes, Sparky is here.
You feel it through the phone call.
You feel it, exactly. And so what we did on our campus is we actually had an assembly for her, and so many kids were touched, and we wanted to spread this ribbon, not only for what it is, but what it truly does to the populations on our campus. And everywhere we go is this, you see the light in the kids' eyes, because, we miss that interaction all the time. We will send it through text, but do we really say it in front of each other? Not really. So it was really cool to be able to have her on campus and voice that, that speaking that we don't really do all the time. And it was just crazy that some kids were really inspired and they were really touched through that ribbon. And afterwards, they would speak to her and say, "Wow, you really saved my life today." Or it's just so heartwarming and heart touching to hear those stories come out and to hear kids have their emotions and stories be heard.
Yeah, I remember the last time we spoke with you, Sparky, you talked about some really huge changes. I mean, it's that goes according to, saving lives and talking about bullying and suicides and how, just these simple gestures, like, what, what Draco was saying, it's like, hey, here's some, something simple, but it's so much bigger, but it actually changed lives that these lives are living by doing this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we received one of the assemblies. We did a Blue Ribbon Assembly that was actually created by Josue, who was your co-founder of Youth Success Week, and he couldn't be here today, but he ran to his principal and said, "We want to have a Blue Ribbon Assembly," and it was because of him that we produced it. But one of the girls at the we had two assemblies. One of the girls ran up to me after and she said, "You did this last year at Martin Luther King Middle School, and I was dyslexic, and everybody made fun of me, and I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, I feel like I matter. And now when we do this assembly here at El Camino Real," she said, "I now know that I can now have a voice to talk about dyslexia and not be bullied, but actually help other people." And that was, and then didn't I send you that letter that she sent, that long email that she sent? And so, just by having Youth Success Week, we couldn't have these mottos, this opportunity to impact everybody. So it's been spectacular, actually. And also, I just want to say something about the businesses. There were 22 businesses that I understand that were at the finale today, and that has not happened in the past. Is that correct?
Well, they have them show up and then be there to share.
And be there to share. And all the schools, how many schools were represented in their tables?
There was a lot of schools. So
it was.
We had about 50 or 60 tables outside. So there was quite a festive feel to what was going on. So,
we arrived and we were like, Ari and I kind of didn't expect.
And we were like, huh?
We were like, whoa, this is a whole party out here. It's like
we had food.
That's excellent.
We had the library brought a big truck, and we had music and food and tables and everything going on.
I really liked it. Yeah.
Did you have tacos? That's important. Did you guys have tacos?
I had tacos there. Yes.
There was. I had I talked to our planner yesterday, and I had to make sure that the food trucks were in line, that we had all cultures represented, so that we could everyone's palates could be satisfied. So that was definitely important for us. Yeah.
Nice. Nancy, you had a question?
No, I was just going to say that Lisa and I have had the opportunity to live in several different countries, and there's something, Western culture is I know we understand and love our privacy, and I know that we have to have fences around our houses where we believe we do, and somehow in Western culture we start to kind of alienate our neighbors, and
unless it's on Facebook.
And even then you don't really know the people. Right. Some you do, some you don't, but there's something about connecting with your neighbors, and it's rare that you do that physically, where you can actually face to face know your neighbor. A lot of us will drive over here, vacation over there, take a walk over there, but do you actually walk in your own neighborhood? Do you actually physically meet your neighbors face to face? And we kind of cut off, like, we're busy, we want our privacy, we want fences, we want all that. And I think from my personal experience that the more we go down that road, the harder it is to connect. And other cultures seem to connect easier in some ways, not always, but I feel like we have to make an extra effort in the Western world to not be so insular and not be so disconnected from other cultures. So I hope that travel will play a part in your lives?
I'm Mexican American, and I have a lot of family in Mexico. And I remember going down for my first time, or for the first time I remember at least, in kindergarten, and my family over there leaves the door open for people to come in, grab food. And I'm like, whoa, like you just leave your door open for people to come in, grab food, go to the bathroom, get water, whatever they need for their neighborhood, you know? And it's that hospitality and mindset that I really feel like people could benefit from. There's a distrust of your neighbors and that aloofness that to stick to yourself and your family when, you know, we're all trying to prosper together and push generations to come forward and just better mankind all together in one. So we really need to show vulnerability towards each other and able to, you know, move forward at a better pace and just kind of trying to move forward. It's very essential that we definitely show vulnerability and open up ourselves, our homes, things like that. That's the physical example, you know, with the house, just leaving your door open. But there's so much you can do with yourself. Just sharing your story and your experiences with someone else just really opens up those doors, you know, mentally.
I love that. I love that you said that, because when I know we're going to run now, but I wanted to just bring up this one thing about this being this nationwide model, which I believe is universal. So I'm sorry, but I'm pushing Youth Success Week across the world.
Yeah, we want it to be worldwide.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a big deal for us. Nancy and I travel a bunch, going to national park units and parks and connecting communities with parks. And this is what I think is so important, is that the community, that strength has to be there, that foundation, just as the mentors you're talking about, the actual, you know, everybody behind it, there's a foundation there, you know, that's important. And it just breeds from that. And as this foundation, it's like pouring cement, you know, to build a house. As you pour the cement, the more you pour as a foundation, the better, you know, well, depending, you know. But I'm not an architect, man. But I'm just saying, you got to have that. The more you have, you know, together, that's strong together, the better. As we look at this going across the country and around the world, do you want to see a model where students can interact in some way in a safe place for that, you know, maybe over the internet? I don't know, Facebook groups. I don't know what's the safest or the best way. But both of you, Draco and Ariana, do you think that would be something important for you to connect beyond your community, to create a bigger community that way? I know this is at the beginning, you know. I know it's 5 years in the making to have the success that it's having now. But in the future, do you see this as something where it's a nationwide community and people can talk, and even as, you know, you go to college and build businesses, that you can communicate from that?
We definitely see it occurring in the future. We would want, if we were to leave, of course, we want to make an impact. We want to have the legacy and the torch be taken down to the younger generations, because they will be our future leaders of this world. And in order to make impact, we have to be more out there, and we have to be more involved to get kids right now who are suffering or going through any trauma in their life to turn the switch and to flip it and turn it on, so that they are ready to make a difference and make change, because they all have capabilities within them, but they haven't seen it yet. And what we do right now is that we have an Instagram page called Youth Success Week, just a quick little plug in there. And what we do is we actually want to voice and empower our students on campus, and to get their testimonials, to get their voices heard, to provide a platform for them so that they can feel as though they're making a difference as well.
And the way it went is, today we dropped the boulder into the lake, and from here, Ariana and I have a year to just ripple out, and the ripples are going to go. We're going to reach, you know, the farthest corners of this country, because this is something that needs to be heard by every student. There's not a kid on this planet who could not benefit from the work that's happening. So why not try to build this youth success empire as large as we can? That's our goal.
I love you said
yeah,
boulder.
and King Kong, man. It's like the empire is building. Come in, man. That's it. Go get it. That's a big boulder.
I like the boulder.
I like the boulder. Like, throw that in, man. Yeah, make that splash and make that ripple happen. Because the ripple effect is positive, and this is such positive energy from all four of you, and also Stedman earlier. There's this positive energy that is just we're not with you in the same room, but I feel your energy. And I think that this is something that is so important. When you grasp hold of something, someone talked a lot about purpose.
Yes.
And I think that once you find that and you have these tools and people behind you, this foundation, the bass player, the drummer. Sorry, I'm a musician, man.
No, me too, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. There is this
sync right there.
No, I know. What do you do? What do you play? Do you sing? Play?
I do my main instrument's guitar and I sing. It's like my little side gig, get some money doing that, but I play so many instruments.
See,
cool.
Draco has a really great mind. He's very good with the strings and all that stuff. But for me personally, I started with violin, and now I'm a part of my advanced orchestra on campus, and I love to play the cello. And what I do is I go around with my little quartet, and sometimes we perform to certain events and places. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could have Youth Success Week and pick each one of you, a musician or a band, to come in and tell their story, to really like do something, and you get to jam with them. Okay, I want to know who it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really cool. That sounds really
I'm going to have to, I do need time to think about it, but I'm going to go with Joan Baez. And she's since I started a Latino Leadership Club on my campus, we do discuss her because she's a huge inspiration. You can just see from her songs and like the Raza movement and the Chicano movement, she had like a big impact she works with Bob Dylan, wrote one of his like most famous songs. So if I was able to like speak with her and then play with her, that would be huge for me just because of that.
You know what? She one of my favorite quotes in life comes from her, and it is, "Action is the antidote to despair."
Exactly.
And I think that sums it up for Youth Success Week.
It is about breaking barriers.
Yeah.
And this is what I know as an old person, being very positively gritting younger, is that most of the barriers in life you have created yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. And you don't even know when you're doing it if you're not aware.
I know.
It's a disawareness. Pattern interrupt, Bobby. I love that. So, Ariana, who's coming to your gig, man? I want to know.
Honestly, that is a very difficult question to ask.
It's cool, though.
We're not going to say her. Draco's here is like whispering. No.
Ariana's going to bring Cardi B.
No, she does come from a path of,
She does have a story.
She does have a story. But I think, on the more PG terms, I honestly, that's a very difficult question to ask because I know there's a lot of great, performers out there. But I would really like to showcase our kids on campus because this time around it was more difficult because I wasn't as able to go out there and reach out our performing arts kids on campus. And I think next year will be more powerful in terms of having a performing arts sector and having little acts of music and singers on stage because they are really amazing, and I really think they could have a great platform to sing and do all their talents on stage.
Oh man, I want to come to the next festival.
Awesome.
Like,
come.
Yes.
I want to come party and watch the speeches and take that in because there was some really good lessons in there. I love the positivity and the energy, and to me, it's infectious. Positivity breeds positivity.
Exactly.
And love,
So cool.
excellence breeds excellence because excellence is a lifelong habit. Right, Bobby?
Yes, it is. Make it a habit. Becomes you.
I know. Thank you all for joining us. It has been beyond a pleasure.
Fun.
I'm so excited. It's like you can feel the festival here, and we're in Tucson in the desert. And listen, we got good music and tacos out here, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We share it from different sides of the border. We got Sonoran over here, and you got Baja tacos over there, and we love it. But everyone, again, I got to give a shout out to Bobbi-deporter, co-founder of CAYS, the Community Alliance for Youth Success. And again, go to the website youthsuccessweek.org. And she is the co-founder of Supercamp. Talking about academic achievement. I'm just going to give a plug for Bobby because I know she won't plug it. I'm saying go to supercamp.com. Go check it out because this is really the season of getting kids involved. It helps move forward towards college, and it also incorporates the 8 Keys of Excellence, which is also a big part of Youth Success Week. So the 8 Keys of Excellence is a free family program on there. Go to 8keys.org. I also want to thank Elise Sparky Bridges
Yeah.
Sparky Bridges, that's a good name. Sparky Bridges.
Really,
like, I see fireworks over the bridge.
I know.
You know?
Oh, fireworks over the bridge.
I know.
So cool.
You'll get a Disney movie one
right.
day. One day the Disney movie's coming.
Yeah. Whatever, all that you're doing, you know, Sparky, thank you so much. And everybody, again, blueribbons.org, go there. And everyone, Bobbi, Helise, and Ariana and Draco, thank you for joining us. We're going to play some music now. Go figure. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this song, I have to play it. It's called Captain America. And it's by nicki-kris. We just heard Dream Big from her, but Captain America. And she has even a Facebook group about everybody going in and becoming their own superhero. It's Superhero Day today. I know our listeners are hearing it a few days later, but it's about being a superhero. And I believe everybody involved, every single person, whether they're an attendee, someone who stood up and spoke, if you are on the Youth Success Week, or K's, I should say, board, everybody involved, you are a superhero. And Captain America, this needs to go around the country. Everyone, every community needs to adopt this. So that's the song we're playing. And nicki-kris, just, you know, I'm just going to say this, Ariana and Draco, she took all of her albums and took every single lyric and connected, well, not every single lyric, but every single key of excellence and connected them to lyrics of her songs.
Wow.
And she did a good job. Yeah, it's very cool. So I'm just saying. Bob, I'm just saying, Bobbi, I think we need to have another music show for the 8 Keys. Is that okay?
Yes, that was fun. We can do that.
Okay. We'll do that. And then Ariana and Draco have to come on. Because, like, you know,
we will.
For sure. You'll see us there.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. Everybody, again, youthsuccessweek.org. And here it is, Captain America from nicki-kris. And then again, it's nicki-kris, K-R-I-S at the end. And enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See the boy turn quickly into a man, wants to do what's right, the best that he can.